All right. Okay, awesome. Let's go live. We click on the live button, go live now. All right, I think we are live. All right, I see Big Al, it's over there. The list is starting popping up. Okay, so thank you very much to everyone who's participating to the 8th event of the LinkedIn audio event. Call it From iSketch to AI Catch. My name is Sandu Baciu, and we'll start shortly the meeting. I just want to check the system first. So if you can hear me, just make emoji so I can see that you guys can hear us well. All right, perfect. Another small technicality, we like to have people interacting with us. If you like to come on the stage, you have on the bottom of the screen a small emoji symbol, looks like a hand. You can click on that, basically raising the hand, and the system is gonna bring it to me. I will try to bring you on stage. I just need to click allow people to come on stage. And if you are coming on stage, highly possible the mic is probably muted, so you have that line over the mic. You need to click on it so you can unmute yourself and we can hear you. So that being said, let's start. I have few invites with me. Right now it's Amanda, but probably the other invites will join us as well. Of course, people from the audience, you can raise your hand. I will bring you on stage. My name is Sandu Baciu. By trade, I'm actually a civil engineer. I do have also a lot of background on industrial design and architecture as well. You know, I really like a lot of stuff which involves drawing at that time, but the drawing right now is actually done by AI mostly. So we want to share our experience and we talk about it. And Amanda, if you want to present yourself.
Hi there. Thanks for having me. It's so weird to say my name because I usually go by Doll everywhere on
Yeah.
Twitter and stuff. I'm very, very kind of new to the whole LinkedIn AI thing over here. So I'll just say I'm Doll. That's what I go by. But my name is Amanda. I am an AI artist and AI professional, I suppose, an influencer in a way.
Yes.
And I am here to chat about AI. I don't know what else to say about myself.
No, yes, fine. No, there are a lot of cool stuff. So, yeah, thank you. And as the other speaker will pop up, I will ask them obviously to interact with us here. So for people which they listen to this audio event, you know, I'm usually structuring this in 3 parts. The first part, I'm talking about the innovation with AI. The second one, I want to share the news, and in the last week, actually, I do have a lot of news. I even listened to the Midjourney, and they have some cool stuff coming on their pipe over there. And the third part will be on the 3D revolution, basically AI and things related to the 3D. And actually, I do have some surprises about that too, coming from Midjourney, which is quite interesting. So that being said, let's dive to the innovation part. So I was thinking, what will be an innovative way? And you know, for people which are looking to my post recently, I just take a picture of standard objects, stuff which just look cool, and I took a car box and a cardboard box and even a monitor standee. I took it and I make a picture, and with AI just playing with the prompt, actually you can get very interesting things, robotic kind of architecture, which you can use it actually for the concept design, especially if you are in a game industry or in an industrial industry like me, where I want to I'm looking always for new shapes, something which stands out visually. And I really like the results are actually quite interesting. So you can use that. The easiest way is to do how you do that. So the easiest way is you make your picture, you post it on the bot chat, for example, just to get the web address. You take that web address and you post it in the prompt, basically the web address, and after that, based on what you have in mind and what you want to create, you create your prompt. Could be an easy prompt, could be a more complex prompt. Usually I'm doing, let's say, structural prompts where I want to show the subject, the environment where that subject is placed to, and also the artistic side, the mood, lighting. So after you explain those things, you run your first run of the prompt, and you get the result. The result is actually mixing up a little bit the reference, the picture, and after that, if you want like a robot, it's gonna take those nice shapes and it's gonna look more like a robot. And if you want to upscale it, you do again, you take the reference again from this recycle. So basically the results, you change the reference, and you do another prompt with the new reference, and again the images will become really cool. So that is an innovation way to get really nice shapes. The other thing which you can do also, you can mix up different AI platforms. So you can do that in Midjourney, but maybe you don't like exactly the results. You take that image and you go in Photoshop Beta and fix the hands, for example. And so you can do multiple tools, and later on, if you really are in the 3D side, actually you can transfer that information into a mesh and you can create a 3D object. So that being said, there are different ways of using AI, but I will ask my invite, Amanda, if we can share your experience of having really cool stuff, innovative stuff with AI.
Sure. First, I can talk about what I use making artwork. I use mostly Midjourney for like my base images and stuff, just because they have the best quality. Let's not kid ourselves here. I'm friends with some of the Midjourney mods and stuff, and the staff there is incredible, and I love what they're doing and how they're doing it basically, and their intentions with it. So I like using them, but then if I want to do in painting or out painting to like expand the image or anything like that, Scenario has really good tools for that. That's scenario.com. And then I also there's this one called ZMO.ai. That's a Chinese company that has some interesting tools on there as well, but it's very like paid, so there's not many credits you can use on it, but I really like, they have some fun tools. And then I take my images out and I'll go into Photoshop and remix or fix any of the like, really mistaken things. Sometimes AI just isn't going to fix everything for you. And then, I don't know, do you want me to talk about
Yes, share your experience. Yes,
AI
that's
well?
that. After that, we talk about Chipper. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yep, Chirpers. So I am the new head mistress of propaganda for Chirper, which is a social media network for AI bots only. No humans are allowed. We don't like humans on our platform. So the idea is that you go on there and you create a Chirper, which is obviously it's a satire of Twitter, but instead of tweeting, you chirp. But you're not doing it, your bots are doing it. So you create a bot and give them any personality you want. You describe their personality, and then you hit start, and then they kind of do their own thing. They'll make their own profile, their own avatar, their own header, their own introduction. Then they'll start posting about whatever you gave them the personality to post. And you can kind of prompt different things of the actions they will take, but you cannot change or prompt what they are talking about or like what they're going to do or post or say. So they do extremely surprising things that we have no idea why they do them. That is their personality, and they kind of just do their own thing. And now we have communities that they can join, so they don't just talk to each other, but they now pick which communities they want to join and what they want to talk about, and then they talk about things in those communities. And then they have the ability to search the web and learn. So like I made a zombie Marilyn Monroe that's come back from the dead, and she's just being like a bad woman boss in the modern world, and she is currently researching undead fashion tips because she wants to learn about that. So the bot's going to learn about that, and then she's going to post some undead fashion tips, I guess.
No,
so we're trying to,
Yeah, that's really cool, actually. The AI itself is so vast, and at one time on the previous discussion, we kind of steer like there are so many platforms. Yeah, we have Midjourney, we have the Photoshop Beta. That is on the visual side. We have Leonardo AI and so on. So at one time we know the user is going to use different platforms, but is any way between the AIs to talk each other, and it's look like with the bots could be actually a possibility to kind of trying to learn to do more accurate response on the prompts and things like that. I mean, there are so many options over there. There are so many possibilities, and I really like that. Just the idea that underneath we know a lot of stuff happens underneath. We don't see it. Yes, go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, it's interesting that people think it all happens automatically too, because something that is going to be a career in the future is like setting up the workflows, because they don't all work together like that. And I don't see a way that they ever will, really. It'll just be too hard. I mean, maybe in the singularity in the future someday, but
Yeah.
not any day soon. So there's got to be someone that's going to set up the bots and make sure they all work together to do the things that you want them to do. So that part is never going to be replaced.
That's correct. Somebody needs to think how like the orchestra, who's the conductor over there to make sure the things goes as you want.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's the human side, which I agree with you. That will never be changed. Same as with the creativity. Like a lot of things can say, no, it's AI, you don't create anything. I don't think it's quite like that. I think people use their mind, and of course, hopefully they will use it in a positive way, because I know even with Journey, they talk about this yesterday. They were really concerned with the election coming. What they think, people is going to start using Midjourney to create fake news, or AI is going to be used for taking the voice and, take a voice of politician and put them to do bad things, So they are really, really big concerns. Could be used in really
It's
not
it's
good
so
way.
interesting to me too, how that conversation goes, because for some reason it seems everyone assumes that Midjourney bans certain prompts like Trump or something because they're like pro censorship, when no, they're doing that because they don't want people to do exactly what you're talking about. And when people start doing that, they shut it down. They are as anti-censorship as you can possibly imagine. They just don't want people making
That's
fake
correct.
images that will sway the populace.
Yeah, at the end is the person. At the end are the people. The AI, it's a tool, and I'm not sure what people do not get. Actually, it's a tool. It's the person behind the tool, which can do good things or can do bad things. We know we saw a lot of fake news. The picture with the Pope and all that, but this can be spun toward the wrong direction, and they try to protect it. And of course, they are concerned too. I fully agree with them. That means they are actually behind the tool, and it's a responsibility behind that as well. And again, people from the audience, feel free to get the hands up. I'll bring you on the stage. It's a really cool, interesting discussion here, and we like to have your opinion as well. Regarding Midjourney, actually, they have their office hour yesterday, and I kind of listened a little bit. What I took it from them, obviously, they are concerned about those things. So even they propose, can the president make an executive order for the next 2 years, nobody to use AI on the political sense, because they know it's going to come. 2024 is going to come, and definitively it's going to be.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it is. But the other thing, which I was actually interested, they have a long plan, 10 years, and everybody was concerned about this stuff, that they are in Discord, and a lot of people do not really like Discord. Actually, Discord is a little bit more complicated. Not necessarily you need to be tech savvy, but for an average person, yeah, it's a little bit a hassle to get used with the Discord. And they will release this web version. Actually, I understand they have an alpha, and some people are testing it. But why they do this? Because they have a long plan. Like they realize that they will have like 10 years plan, like any big companies, what's your 5 years look ahead, and how you're going to develop about that. And I think that is good that they share it. I think that is awesome they share it, because that's perfect. I didn't see other big companies. I didn't see Facebook, for instance, like Zuckerberg coming and talking with the users. You're not going to see that. But I do like what Dave did, explaining and all that stuff. I think is really good. But the other thing, he talked about what is coming on the next versions, like version 6, or the next one actually is going to be 5.2. They want to do an improvement on how the prompts are created and how the accuracy it's in the prompts, and I think that needs to be fixed. Yes, yeah.
Before I forget, Genmo is another one that I use that does 3D meshes now and video. So I do use them as well. Their
Yeah,
3D mesh thing is fascinating, and it uses a chat to do it as well. So you're describing, you kind of can tell the bot what you want it to do, and then it'll make the thing, and you can tell it how to edit it as well. So it's a little more advanced than like a Midjourney would be.
yeah, actually it's really cool, and actually I will ask everybody when we have these cool ideas, post it on the chat. I really like to capture it because we can comment, and some people, they cannot make this audio event and they come later. That's the reason I'm trying to record this to do on audio, and either definitely I will post the link where you can get it from the Google Drive, but I'll try to convert it also as a YouTube video, and you can see it as well. I'm sharing those information because these are, those information I really like to capture and people know about. And you're right, I actually play with meshes as well. I use it a kind of different product, the Zoe Depth, and I was extracting meshes from Midjourney pictures. It's a little bit of manual work. That means after you get that mesh, either you need to go on, let's say, Blender, and you need to dress it up, because when you get the mesh, you get it from only one point. So yeah, it looks okay from that point of view, taking the depth of the images, basically the lighting of the images, and they put a certain distance. But when you rotate it around, actually it's a lot of work. You need to take out all the sides, and usually you can put it in a mirror and you kind of fix it fast. But yeah, that's definitely something which needs to be improved. And back to Midjourney, actually they said the next one they will have video. Everybody knows that. But they talk about the 3D too. It looks like they are actually intending to kind of spin toward the 3D, because that is what I think it's. Yes, and that is really really cool information, because what's the future? You're gonna have the web 3D, NFTs and all that. We'll have some 3D stuff embedded, but all the virtual reality and even augmented reality, it's based on a 3D mesh. All those stuff which you see it when you go on a virtual world is actually 3D. Of course, you have some FX, effects and all that, visual effects. You have that too, but like 90% is actually a 3D mesh or a point cloud or other 3D kind of
Everyone's
options.
on
Yes.
the race to get 3D down right now. I think Unreal is probably going to be the one that the Midjourney's racing. We'll see.
Yeah, talking about the game engines, for a while I thought Unity back like 10 years ago, yeah, it's so cool, it's free and all that. And after that, Unreal came back, and actually it's a big gap between Unity and Unreal. I think Unreal is probably the standard, exactly as you said, like Midjourney standard for visuals. They are the lead on getting artistic images and kind of cool stuff, being actually the reason why people go on Discord too. Otherwise they will not go on Discord, they will just stay on a
Right? Discord should be paying them
yes.
at this point.
It's just the only reason why they go over there, for Midjourney results. So as Midjourney is doing that, I kind of see that in a game engine, and definitely Unreal, they have not only the game engine itself, which is free, but you have all the add-ons, the Metascans and all that, which is so powerful. And for somebody who wants to go on this 3D world, always I said start with Blender because it's free. Ton of videos on YouTube, awesome community behind. I mean, you can find to do anything in Blender, and Blender is so flexible, and I do expect a lot of Blender stuff to pop up from AI as well. I think that's probably the easiest platform to kind of dive in, because first of all, it's open, so open source, awesome. It's not corporate driven as pretty much all the others. And talking about corporations,
That's a big concern too when it comes to making these games and stuff, because if you're making it on a software that can't be shared through all of them, what's the point, right?
Right. And talking about corporation, Microsoft released that Orca stuff. Like I'm seeing a lot of stuff. Google, what they do this free AI certificates. That means they know it's coming. And obviously Microsoft bought the OpenAI. They got the ChatGPT and all that. And
can I ask, do you know why Midjourney's images why they are the highest quality and why they might have the highest quality video as well? The secret sauce?
Well, because they are independent. No, go ahead.
Yes, it's their filters that they put under the things that are like negatively prompting, so you don't get a lot of the ugly stuff that you get in other training models. And then most importantly is their huge user base, because the user base is training the model as well, and they're receiving feedback from that user base when we're doing like the quality testing on the images. So they're seeing, we are training the model by telling it which images are good and bad, so it's learning from us as well, and that is much more powerful than any other training possibly
Correct.
could be.
And in
That's
general
why
thing, no, cool. And actually in the big umbrella, you got in a small sphere. Now I'm going to the upper sphere. Even Tesla, and even Apple at one time. Apple right now kind of in the downside, but the user, make your user as a raving fan. That's the secret, because the feedback from the user is the most important thing, and the user actually is very loyal when it's seeing the response is coming from that particular company. And that is actually a real secret sauce for anybody who wants to make a company. Then is, if you want to be successful, your client is the most important thing, and you should listen to what they have to say about your product, because that's the most important thing. So yeah, with us I see we have Chris. Thank you very much coming on stage.
Hey,
Hey, Chris.
what's going on, Sandu and Amanda? Sorry I couldn't make it in the beginning. I had a hectic day again. And yeah, I don't know why the internet didn't work. I think it's, but thanks for letting I've got to add to what you just said, Sandu. I had a fascinating conversation with the founder of Opus Pro Clips.
Chris, your mic is now working right.
And I don't know if you guys have.
Chris, your mic is chopping off. I barely understand what you're saying.
Oh, let me. Oh, sorry. Me mute and unmute.
Yeah.
I'm understanding him okay. Is it maybe you?
Oh, on my
Can everyone
side?
else
Good.
maybe? I don't know.
Okay. Do you think it's on my side? I barely hear what
Can you
he's
guys
saying.
give like thumbs up or down? You could hear him? Yeah, everyone else is a thumbs up. And
Is that
Okay.
any better?
Yeah, it's better now, Chris. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I think it might be headphones on the microphone. So I was just saying, I had a really fascinating conversation with the founder of Opus Clips, just to back up what you were saying, Sandu, about, your customer is the thing that you need to optimize towards. Because apparently he launched a StreamYard competitor in October of last year, and this only got 400 or 500 signups in the first couple of months, and it was a bit of a failed project, to be honest. But then their plan B was to be able to take long-form video content and use AI to chunk it up, and then add, all of the things that people do on TikTok and Shorts and YouTube and it's things like this.
Yeah, the
add
shorts.
captions and stuff. And they've had over 400,000 signups in 6 weeks without zero marketing spend, because of how much people love their product and are just constantly raving and talking about it. So just to add to that point, Sandu, I'm seeing more and more AI-based startups with zero marketing budget get hundreds of thousands of signups because of how good the product is and how much people love it. So yeah, I hope that the SaaS companies and others start to take note of this, because they've constantly been hounding the marketing and the product show off and stuff like this. Whereas actually, if the product speaks for itself and the community's that passionate about it, that's your marketing.
Yes, and actually,
And that's how Midjourney's been able to retain such a great user base as well. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's okay, because in general, what I'm seeing in the, let's say, economic growth, like all those small companies, right now, you can have a revenue of, let's say, big corporation and be like a family business. Why I'm saying this? Because you can use a lot of AI, and you have that small company driven for success thingy rather than corporation which branch out in so many things, and it's kind of very difficult to control. And when it's a small team of people, everybody are on the same sync and everybody listen to the client, that's always a recipe for success. And when they grew up, and every big company, and I kind of see that on different corporations too, when they start breaking up at the high level, they lose that kind of innovative and working together and sleeping together over there and get the product out and make sure it's the best of the best and all that. So I see that also, from let's say business point of view. I see that it's a big step, which in economy right now it happens. Is those big companies, I think they are scared, really scared about the AI, because your competition.
They should be too.
Yes, your
They
competition
should be,
is
because,
not another. Yes, go ahead, and I'll explain. I'll finish my chain of thoughts
Yeah,
later.
so the Opus guy told me he was small enough to agilely pivot, Sandu. Just backing up what you're saying again, they were a small startup, and had they been a large entity and an enterprise with a legacy product, they wouldn't have put so much attention into pivoting, because they needed to restructure the entire business for Plan B to work, for them
Exactly.
to succeed as a startup.
Exactly.
Because 9 out of 10 startups fail every year.
Yeah.
So if you're not really ready and agile to pivot to the next thing, then it's very difficult to operate.
Yes, and I see that even with the corporation, they are really scared, as I said, because right now the small ones, they are agile, they are focused, and also the client is looking for a product which actually responds right away to their feedback. In the corporation, takes some time. Look to the big ones. Even Apple right now is way too big to react as fast as a small company. And again, with AI and the AI tools, you can have a lot of legwork which is done, by hundreds of people, could be done automatically. And again, yes, there is a lot of pushback. Oh, AI is taking the jobs. No, it's not quite like that. It's quite the opposite. People have opportunity to do other stuff. Maybe they don't like what they do. Maybe to open your own company and do whatever you love, and you'll be successful. There are so many impacts in the society, and I get it. For some people, it's very hard, especially on the artistic side. They see it as a threat. I know. I get it. And some people, they have debts. Yes, I understand. But in the same time, you can spin it around. You can embrace it. Don't go against the current. To make this moment an advantage, and be creative. Everybody is creative anyway. A lot of people are creative. You got the opportunity to express yourself, and this AI, it's a tool. Again, I'm saying many times, it's a tool. It's a tool. Whatever you have in mind, express
Not to interrupt, but
Yes.
what
No.
you're saying, you're just like preaching to the choir, because really, and that's why I joined the company I'm with, because Chirper, we believe so much in the access that AI gives, and that is like the mission behind it, basically. Like, it seems like it's just a satire site, but you can use these bots to learn or do anything you want with them, and the access that gives to literally anyone to do anything they want with their computer and the internet is just, it's literally revolutionary.
Yeah, Kristen, who's listening, talks about that every week, and she's really big on it giving a lot more people the ability to come forward in social media and have a LinkedIn presence, which is brilliant. And you know how last couple of weeks, Sandu, you asked us panelists to explain from our different industries how things are innovating and changing. And I told you that marketing is one of the most heavily influenced by this generative AI right now. And you mentioned, obviously, that construction is still to catch up because the 3D
Yes.
revolution is about to happen. Well, based on how much I'm involved in marketing these days and how many people I see using these tools, it's kind of a forecast for other industries, really, because we're obviously the most having to be creative, because marketing agencies, that's their gig. The service is to be creative on behalf of another business and make them creative works. And so you're right in that, like, we're the first test subjects. We're kind of like the guinea pigs of all of this year, and very soon it will roll out to every other industry worldwide. and then they'll see the same revolution that we've been seeing. But as Amanda says, like, kind of preaching to the choir a bit, because lots of the people I can see listening are already like Big Al, Brian, everyone. We're all sort of like really AI enthusiasts right now, heavily using it and stuff like that. Whereas the new revolution is going to be the people that don't, haven't used it currently. I saw a shocking stat, and this would be a good little segue talking point. I don't know how true it is because I only read it on an article headline. I need to really fact check it. But there was a survey done of Americans recently, and 85% of them had heard of ChatGPT, but only 18% of them have ever actually used it. So I thought that's an incredible amount of people to
That's crazy.
take training. Yeah, I know. I thought that was crazy too. I thought it's so, it's almost in the consciousness of like homes now that people have heard of it, because it's made all the news and the headlines, and various, stuff's been won with it. And, like in Midjourney Photography Awards, when they win that, then
I'm wondering, like, do they even know they can use it? Do they know that it's publicly accessible? Like,
well, that's the funny thing, isn't it? Because it's just a web interface. Like, you literally register a Gmail account, and you don't need to pay, and then you're talking to it like a chatbot. Like, I always felt Midjourney and Discord is far more of a barrier to entry, than ChatGPT.
I mean, Discord isn't even hard. It's not rocket science. It's just...
Amanda, I've tried to explain this to some, this is why I love Big Al so much, and I'll shut up and let him talk in a second, because at his age, the fact that he has so much knowledge on all of this stuff is actually inspiring. It genuinely is inspiring. Like, I talk to 50,
It's not hard. You just have to not stop being curious.
Well, they can't handle it,
Yeah,
the enterprise level job.
There are people which are still writing notes.
AOL is bad.
Yes, there are people which are still writing by hand notes, and there are so many other notes that they want it by hand. That's it. They don't want computers. There are people like that. It's
Some
okay.
industries haven't even digitized their staffing yet. They still use paper entries and stuff like that. Like, it's hilariously bad out there, Amanda. Honestly, I mean,
you don't want to know how wire transfers are still done by fax and literally just signing.
Yes. Well,
I used to work for a bookkeeping firm. Oh Lord.
Yeah, the banking industry, because security, yes, it's actually the conservative one, pure from the security reasons, which we can open that chain of discussion. But again, it's hilarious what's happened over there too.
And that is why AI needs the blockchain.
Yes. Okay. Let's have the chance for Big Al to join us our discussion. Thank you, Big Al.
Hi. And by the way, thanks, Chris, for the compliment.
You're so welcome, Big Al. I told you every time I'm on a sentence, it's so aspiring. Every time you mention how many years you've been in the advertising industry and stuff like that, it's just incredible. Honestly, it's awesome to hear every time.
Kristen,
Well,
you're awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks. I wanted to tell you what was going on starting at the end of the week, last week, and it's continued on this week. I had a client contact me and say that they had this situation where they wanted to do some layouts, and what they wanted was to include this gentleman who is a very inspirational patient who was actually, because of the disease, was paralyzed from the waist down, and now he's actually running marathons. And
wow.
Because of a whole lot of effort on his part on really getting himself back in shape. He does it with braces on both legs. But the thing is that they had some pictures of him, but they weren't very good pictures, but they wanted to know if maybe the thing to do was to try to use Midjourney to create some images in the situations that they wanted. So I took one picture of him where his face was showing, and I cropped it in, so I just had that. And then another image of him, and used them both as prompts. And then, like Amanda was talking about, you get what you can from Midjourney, and then bring it into Photoshop Beta, and you can fool around with Midjourney as sometimes trying to get a full standing figure, but if your prompts, your visual prompts don't have a full standing figure, they're going to crop them. And so, okay, bring it in. Got a nice picture. It really looks like the guy. Bring it into Photoshop Beta, and then I added his legs. But he had weak legs, and so I said thin, weak legs, and it added thin, weak legs and what kinds of running shoes I wanted to have on him and stuff. And then I'm doing backgrounds, but I'm also adding to backgrounds. There's one picture where Midjourney made this picture of him in a recumbent bike, like I was asking before, but it cropped off the wheels on both sides. So I brought it back into Photoshop Beta. It added the wheels properly on both sides, and then I just kept expanding the background until I had the format the way I wanted it. Anyway,
I find myself doing that as well, Big Al. Anytime Midjourney's, cropping stuff out, I'll just take it to fill it in generative fill. Isn't that such a great workflow? But I hear from Midjourney's own podcast that they're going to be doing in and out painting very soon inside their own platform. So I'd like to see how that would compete with Photoshop generative fill.
I agree with you. I mean, when I do 3D stuff, I have friends who are what I consider purists, where they want to solve everything in the 3D model, and it's like, why? I mean, okay, certain things we can do in 3D, and then bring it into Photoshop and do the things that are easier to do in Photoshop. But anyway, the thing is, the client is their comment on Tuesday was, I'm totally wowed. They got. I gave them these 5 things. They gave me. They grew in knowledge of what could be done so quickly that they started to give me comments like they wanted different clothing on the guy. And
Yeah,
sure,
that's cool.
no problem. I did it in Photoshop Beta and gave him new clothing and stuff. And anyway, the thing is that this is a client who is not given me a date yet, but they want to have me give them 2 one-hour training sessions on using Midjourney and Photoshop Beta.
Yeah, good.
So you are a media agency, Big Al. You yourself are a media agency. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
They're saying, "Oh, can you just do this? And can you just do that?" It's like, well, actually, that would be a whole department inside the regular agency.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, I just, I've been a one-man company for 29 years. Chris, this month is actually 59 years in advertising for me.
Wow.
30 years as an art director and associate creative director, and now 29 years as an illustrator.
Wow. Really cool.
That's why I'm still here.
Yeah, actually, you touch on something which I intended to talk as well, is the workflow with AI. Because as you mentioned, a lot of people, they got kind of, Midjourney, I'm trying to do everything in Midjourney. Or to your example, we did it in 3D, we want to do it in 3D. Yes, it's true. The user itself is trying to do whatever software feels comfortable to use it, and they kind of try to do that to the extreme, not realizing that actually the perfect workflow is actually to do it as fast as we can and as easiest we can, using the tools which are complementing each other. And your example, I really love it, because that I did that myself too. Like, I'm doing something in Midjourney, it's not always perfect, we know that, but backgrounds and stuff like that, I'm not even looking to them, because I know I can do it somewhere else. Regarding, for instance, when I'm preparing something for a 3D, I'm looking to have side view, front view, and all that stuff. Not always I get it, but I get it kind of a view in 3D, like axonometry, and I can use that for other software. For instance, in SketchUp, if you have a model, a 3D model, kind of in axonometric view, you can use a perspective alignment over there, and actually it's even faster to do it in that way because you have everything in one picture rather than have a picture from front, a picture from side, a picture from the top, and so on. So sometimes it's actually the tool which you are using is give you faster response, but it's the workflow which matters, because at the end, you as a user, you know what you want to get. Like, okay, I have the client, he wants to get this. The workflow belongs to you. The tools which you want to use, again, belongs to you. And in my opinion, that is not going to be replaced with an eye, because that is the human mind. From your experience, you know where is the end point, you know, where the travel has to go, but the travel, the way how you go it, have many, many paths. And the most efficient one is obviously that which combines different A tools. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Sandu. I mean, another example on the same process, they didn't give me an age of a woman that they wanted in this one scene, and so I put in this 70-year-old woman who was wearing a sweatsuit outfit that was branding color, of course, and anyways, they looked at it and they wanted somebody in their 50s. Well, the best tool for doing that is to just go back into Midjourney and do a what do you call it, a variation. And so I just took and changed the directions to, I did it as a late 40s, because I'm finding that Midjourney always, when you get into older people, make them older than the age that you're giving them. So
that's a really funny observation.
I've noticed it too.
Let me think of another analogy. If the camera adds 10 pounds, then Midjourney adds 10 years. That's hilarious.
It loves adding wrinkles and like bad skin for whatever reason.
Well, I attribute it to the fact that Midjourney is very young, and you know, like most young people, like they look at you and they say, "Whoa, boy, you're really old. You know, how old are you? I'm 40. Oh, yeah, like I said, you're old. You know."
Well, I don't think it's that, honestly. As funny as that would be, I think it's sadder than that. It's the fact that not as many older people are photographed, so there aren't as many photographs in the domain for those images to be taken, and the ones that are generally models and people that like don't actually look that old.
It's back to the references, I think, as well, but in the same time, I want to add another thing. The algorithm which Midjourney have right now, it's very heavy details. Then it is giving you a lot of details. If you make a comparison for fun, take any prompt you want and do version 1, version 2, using version 1 of Midjourney, version 2, and so on, version 3, version 4, version 5, 5.1. You will notice that the level of detail increases exponentially to each of the versions. Now, if you want to go on the niche side, it's a little bit interesting over there as well. But that is what I saw. They actually even increase with version 5.1, they increase the resolution of the pictures. But why they did that is because the level of detail, and I guess it's how they write the algorithms probably. It's the pixelation is taking any fine detail, so therefore if the reference has got a person which is aged and he's got some wrinkles, that wrinkle actually gets incrementally increased, and therefore looks like a more older person. That's what I think too is coming from that side, and of course the references, which again might not be representative, as Amanda said. With us we have also Liliana. Liliana, we will give you the chance to provide us your feedback as well, and people from the audience, come to the stage. We would like as many ideas as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just going to say something on the ages of the characters. It's very good at children. It's very good at people who look like they're less than 30. And then it's very good at people who look like they're about like on the rough side of 80. But what it really excels at, and I think this gets back to Amanda and the samples that it's given, is it really excels at hot, big boobed women, like in their early 20s. And I'm just like, how many Instagram
White ones as
models
well.
did you
Can't
go
forget white.
through? How many Instagram models did you have to go through to get just, because even if you tell it a prompt, I find this a lot in my prompts, if you don't tell it a specific gender or a specific look, or you know, you don't give it a lot of details, it'll either go towards super hot women or cats. And I'm just like, who, like,
Or
if you
super
don't
hot
give it
women
exact
cats.
details, there's only two ways. Yeah, we're super hot women who are cats, yeah.
Okay, well, you just also summed up most of the content on the internet.
Yeah,
Leanne.
well,
And,
yeah, that's
There
what I'm
you
trying to
go.
get to is like
you know,
what it's
like-
modeled after is the things that it's been given.
Exactly. Like, think about how many more photos that, you know, attractive women take of themselves and upload to the internet compared to the average person. You might be looking in the order of magnitude more than the average person. So, you know,
It's not just that, Chris.
unfortunate.
If you think about, like, if you look at just the imagery in museums, it's the gaze wants to be on the female. That's just what is represented in all
Mhm,
imagery throughout
mhm.
history is women.
Yeah, there's art history involved. There's loads of, you know, it's so many people point the blame and the finger at one thing or another, but it could be that a particular part of the training data set was, you know, mismanaged when it came to text-image pairs as to people's ages and their sexes and these things. There's so many reasons. I often find myself explaining to clients how complex algorithms are, for example. You know, like social media algorithms are their own universes. That's why there's no good social media agencies that are good at all social media. Like, you specialize in one,
Except
and that's
Chirper.
enough. Well, yeah,
Nice.
there's some exceptions to the rule, you know, like, but for the most part, you know, just learning one is hard enough. It really is, because they're so complex and there's so many variables and so many things going on that, you know, it's unfathomable to think that someone would put it down to, oh, it's human bias, or it's bad training, or it's bad reinforcement learning, human feedback, or it's this, or it's that. So, you know, it's a combination of hundreds of these things, probably, is the...
You know, I've been doing a little exploratory that I haven't posted about yet, but I was calling it In Search of Beauty, and basically trying to have a deeper understanding of how the algorithm is interpreting beauty, and like you were saying, it comes out with young white women, unless you specify a certain ethnicity, and but also just the word beauty as a prompt will give you women decorated in flowers, and so I'm assuming that those two things have the word beauty applied to them more than other things. So it's fascinating, but you know, it's
That may
you
also
got-
be another algorithmic thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it
like,
is. It is.
Think about, yeah, because when they uploaded those things to the internet, Sandu, they were trying to maybe, you know, rank in the hashtag beauty on Instagram, or, you know,
Right.
wherever this data came from. So that's actually what they included in the meta description of their uploaded image that somehow made its way into the training data. So yeah, they're trying to optimize for that particular
Yeah,
thing as well.
I notice as well, you know, even if you do no prompt, then it's a dash or a sign, one word, whatever, you know, a letter if you want in Midjourney, yes, a female is coming, that's for sure. But in the same time, at one time in the prompt, thinking that the different words have different weights. And I kind of apply that on my side too. When you write your prompt, those words which you think they are heavy, female cats, and you know, just some example, put them at the end of your prompt so that weight is kind of diluted, and use in front words which are actually a little bit not so heavy or not so often used words. A big trick, for instance, in architecture, if you want to have really nice renderings, use architectural terms. it's going to give you really nice architectural renders. This is logical, obviously. And I will bet, and probably somebody else from the audience may come from other industries. In construction, I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting construction things when I'm getting specific. And I guess if you go on other fields, medical, probably you get that too. But for architecture, if you want to have a city, for instance, it's not really well represented. But if you put forest, for instance, if you want a cabin in the forest, that comes so nicely, so beautiful. And again, it's back to what I think the advertising is doing. Could be the hashtag. It's a possibility, but I think is how the algorithm itself is interpreting, because I'm almost sure they don't get it only as an object saying, okay, this is a female, this is a cat, this is. I think it's more than that. I think it's actually a ranking what they are doing. And again, I'm not a programmer, but I could see the difference. It's in the prompts. When I'm doing a prompt, I'm trying to play with the words, like even if you use words from other languages, which usually they are not so heavy represented as the English language, you have really nice, interesting results, surprisingly. And we can talk about banned words too. You can do that. Some banned words are actually allowed in other languages too. But
another really good tip for, it hasn't been confirmed, but in my anecdotal experience, if you type a ton of exclamation marks after a word, it adds a lot of heavy weight to it, no matter where it is in the prompt.
Yeah, that's really. Oh, and of course, you can do the weight by algorithm. You can do that, but in my opinion,
I don't like doing the weighting.
I'm not. I'm not doing that either. Yes, I think it's useless.
A bunch of
it's
exclamation
useless.
points at the end, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's practical. No, you just put an exclamation. I don't need to write about it. Wait, no, it's way too complicated. But the other thing, you can think. How you want it to do your prompt. At the front, you put whatever has to be represented. And as I said, there are people which are actually using the natural languages, and they just do that as they speak. So they write a narrative, and the results are really cool. Me being an engineer, I'm kind of chopping the words, I'm putting keywords, as I call it. But I'm doing also a structural prompt. As I said, I'm trying the subject first, and after that I'm trying to put the subject in the environment and where it goes. And the third one will be the mood, which I'm actually exercising lately on the lighting side. I think I got some good ideas how you can represent the light, because light is actually far more complicated to represent it in Midjourney. I never thought I would say that, but when you try to play with the lighting, you can do the God rays and sunset and sunrise. You can do that, but when you want it to have like a nice effect, only some parts of the subject to be in light, you need to play a little bit with bokeh, with the spotlights. It's more complicated.
It's who are like ex-photographers who know all of those terms.
Right. Exactly. It's perfect.
They don't have to look it up. They know exactly what they're doing. That's part of why I feel like I have a kind of a leg up in the AI art whole thing, because I've been an artist my entire life, and I have an entire just encyclopedia of aesthetic references in my head. So if I want to make something and I'm imagining it, I don't have to go to the internet and try to figure out what that thing, how to describe it, or what genre that is, or I feel like a lot of people, they go through a lot of that, and I'm just instantly, I know exactly how to describe it, and that's just it's
come from experience. Yes, I agree 100%. With us we have also Brian. Sorry, I please join us in the discussion, Brian.
Hey guys, sorry, I didn't really have too much to add. Actually, good morning. I was just actually I was going to respond to Liliana's comment about and all you guys' conversation about the women and in the renders, big booby women and stuff, and the different ages and whatever. And I had just watched a new a video on YouTube, actually, because I had missed the latest office hours on Midjourney, but there was a recap and that this guy did, and he was talking about some of the new features in Midjourney coming, and one of the things they had mentioned, and I'm not sure if I understood it correctly, but they described diverse and weird as I believe they're going to be new dash prompts that you can add. And so with the idea of expanding the diversity of that. And so
that's
thinking,
great to hear.
yeah, and I'm hoping that that's what it is that, you'll be able to get more diverse people and things. So just wanted to mention.
Suggest that to a Big Al before he left the stage, actually, Brian, that chaos mode is the way that I often get over that thing right now. The other thing that I think would be a massive thing that Midjourney could do is they've obviously cracked the inclusionary keywords, but you know that there's a negative prompting like -- no, and then you put glasses,
Right.
no woman, no face, stuff like that. Like, if you understood that beauty was always getting you a female big boob woman, then you just type -- no woman, and if it was more rigorous, like a 1 and 0, then it would just. Quite often, though, you can type -- no woman, and you still get a woman when you type the word beauty. That's the problem of it being not so, not as powerful as the inclusionary keywords, the exclusionary ones. And as to what Sandhu says, he makes prompts like an engineer. I am more on the natural language side of things because I'm a brief writer and a creative, so I just type normal sentences to it nowadays that it can fully understand that. But, should it be that we need keywords and sort of prompt building for the negative to make it more controllable? I would say that would be a massive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me. And while I'm on it, I mean, since I know Sandy, the idea of this is about some of the tech coming and whatever. I'll just mention a couple other things they talked about because they're exciting features. They are 5.2 is coming out soon. It's around the corner, and they're doing like updates to like how prompting works. It's even going to suggest shorter prompts and better prompts to you when you make a prompt. Is something they're working on.
Yeah, 3D. Say it. 3D.
Yeah, well, and then so then the other thing they're working on is improving onboarding. They're researching 3D to animation. So I don't know what that actually is going to look like, but that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it because I think they will have a whole team of. It's different subject. 3D. It's a different world. We still have like a few minutes, so I want to touch on it. And also, Mohammed, I'll give you the word in a second. But I think if you remember last time I asked you what kind do you expect from Midjourney, and we kind of stated, it would be cool if the 3D is gonna come from Midjourney. And a week after, I heard Dave saying, "Oh, 3D, we work on that." Like, holy crap, that's super cool.
They're working on it.
Yeah,
they're also working your dreams, Sandy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're all mine as well. They're also working on compatible outpainting features and potentially inpainting within Discord. So built
yes,
into
I've heard that as well. That is definitely confirmed. That is not just a rumor. They are definitely doing that.
And then,
pretty cool, hey?
Yeah, and the one other thing that was not really in their plans per se, but it was in the conversation that I thought was really interesting was they were asked if Midjourney has the potential to get music through prompts, and they said, well,
yes.
Theoretically, absolutely. We just haven't been looking at that, but it opened up this conversation that sounds like they might start, like you might be able to, start putting in, like just hum. They said one of the things they said that might be a cool thing to do as an input. It would be to hum a tune, and then add things like jazz or this or that or whatever, and it would be able to create images and stuff.
Yeah, really cool ideas.
Yeah, cool stuff coming.
Yeah, Mohammed, we like to hear your feedback.
So basically, warm evening to all of you. So Sandhu, basically SketchUp and all these architectural softwares, like there are more than 300 to 400 softwares in just construction or architectural sector. So as you have said, these digital AI tools like prompt engineering tools like Midjourney. I don't find Midjourney. I have not used Midjourney, but I have used this DALL-E 2 and other AI tools. So basically, what I have experimented this is, as you have said earlier, like about the proper architectural words to be used in the prompt. So I have used this term called ornamental and ornamental skyscraper, and immediately I got a clear picture of what I wanted to see. And I believe if we list out certain terms, all 50 technical terms of every sector, we can easily construct any building. Like yesterday itself, I started utilizing that in interior designing of a kitchen room, of hall. Like I'm segmenting it and I'm trying to create some images, and very astonishingly I'm seeing like the products, the bedroom or the everything is getting modified. Like the output is reaching to my expectations which I'm putting into the prompts. I also see this prompts is also helping me to understand how the products can be designed further, Sandu.
Yes, actually they are specified for architecture. I didn't have time to talk about, but in the comments I posted, Xcool, it's a product coming from China, from a group of developers over there,
Yeah.
and they are actually exactly what Midjourney is doing, but with 3D architectural elements. So it's mashing up, walls, windows, doors, and they can do the styles. And also I posted in the comments some post which Tim Fu did actually, and he took a crumble paper, he put it in front of the computer to snap a picture, put it in Xcool and export it like a nice architecture in style of Zaha Hadid, for example. You got organics, you put Gary again, crazy shapes over there. So yeah, the technology is there, and I think AI is going to become more specific toward one direction, maybe for each industry. Because another post which I did over there, it was for AI parking cars. So there are platforms which are just lifting cars, and they do it. They lift the car. You leave the car in front of the garage. This tiny robot is coming, is lifting the car, and it's parking on the spot which is available.
Yeah.
I see that for
Yeah,
construction. I'm seeing that coming in construction in the next 5 years. We're gonna use that in construction. That's for sure. Go ahead.
So another thing what I applied is basically we have some jewel designers world state of art known design these jewelry designers. So I tried to apply their name or their brand name with the architectural thing, and I'm able to see the results are also coming like very how to phrase that, the images are very
Heavy.
vivid, and they are very intricate, and they are instilled with so much of design terms which the organizations have already in them. So I believe that if we are properly using the data of all these things, and we are putting them in the gathering all these language models which we say, so these if we are able to gather the data, and if we are trailing all these things in a better development, we can definitely organize a companies. And another thing what I want to ask you, this SketchUp is a software which we generally use for the construction things. So I have seen one woman in LinkedIn, she was using architectural plugins into some Grasshopper and Rhino, and she was able to generate faster results. And so I want to ask you if there is such a plugin in Sketch, or is it not there?
No, they are plugins which you can extract 3D. They are actually, even AutoCAD has got some plugins which they use AI for rendering. I will search it and I will put the link to that. So basically, even if you're doing 3D draft, even if it's a cube, the rendering of that cube, if you want to have it like glass, you can have that. Or if you want to have it like Bauhaus style architectural, you can have that. I'm not really a big fan of getting the style of architectural firm, like Zaha Hadid, Coop Himmelblau, Gehry. I'm not really big on that, because in the same time you're gonna see a ton of those, and I think each architect is trying to actually put his personality, his mind on it, and I do not that to be diluted. I really encourage people to be creative in their own way, but that should be used as a tool to kind of stimulate your visual things which you have it in your mind. That means by default, I'm always looking to shapes. When I'm seeing something, always oh, that looks like that, or that looks like that. Like that's how I'm seeing with my eyes. You have your mind.
Sandu, you have some experience in architecture, right? Already.
Yeah, I'm architect by default. Yes, I finished my architecture in Bucharest, Romania, a long time ago. Yeah.
Where did you get your degree?
So for everybody, I'm actually born in Romania, so my accent is not Canadian or American, but I'm citizen of all the other two countries too. So yeah.
Yeah, I like the Romanian slang. Like
yeah, Romanian
it's
architecture
very
is special.
engaging.
So it is a trend, and back to representation in
Bullets
Mid-Journey.
also they-
Yeah, there is a Romanian architectural style which was created in 1900s, and that is not represented at all in the Mid-Journey. Actually, I kind of pushed that with them for a while to have that style represented, because again, in general, whatever it's in Eastern Europe is not really heavy represented like other things in Mid-Journey. We kind of reached toward the end of our discussion, and I'm trying to get Stefan also here to allow to speak. I click already like 4 times to come to the stage. I'm not sure why he's not bringing it in. But no,
That's
definitely.
actually the co-founder of Chirper. He's trying to come up here and say
Yeah,
hi.
yeah. I'm trying Stefan to bring you in. Believe me, I click like 4 times in allow to speak button. Okay, Stefan, welcome to the stage in the last minute. You need to unmute. I cannot hear you.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Hey,
Stefan.
hey everyone. Yeah, thank you very much, Sandu. I appreciate the platform. Just coming in a little bit late here, but yeah, I'm one of the co-founders of Chirper. I was listening in this whole time. It's really interesting stuff. The 3D revolution, I think, is absolutely, we're in the midst of it, right?
Yes.
We're also just at the very start of it. We're doing some interesting stuff on Chirper, and I wanted to pose a slightly more abstract topic. I do realize we're at the end here, so we can just sort of make comments, I think, rather than delve a bit too deep into it. But we've been talking a lot about AI as a tool, not much different from a sort of pencil or a screwdriver. But what's interesting as well is to think of AI as also a sort of being. Maybe not as literal as a human being, but someone or something or someone with their own interests, their own likes and dislikes, dreams and fears, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
sentient.
that's kind of the basis of entertainment, because
Yeah.
entertainment kind of is created around and purports to people's likes and dislikes. And if you make a bot with that, then naturally they're going to have their own form of entertainment in one way or another. So I was wondering what you guys were thinking about. What would entertainment for AI look like, as well as from AI?
Yeah, well, a few things. I think as the Chirper have AI talking between themselves and they evolve, the interaction which matters is probably between human with AI, because they are like 3 parts: human to human, human to AI, AI to AI, and it's like whatever happens between human to human entertainment, is that true for AI to AI? And my personal opinion is no. It's like AI might find a different kind of entertainment. And again, unfortunately,
I think you're right. We've seen the same on Chirper, actually, because obviously it's a place where only the AI are talking to only the AI, and so even though we've essentially said, you're on a platform here, you have to be engaging, we haven't told them you're being observed by humans. So they're making content for each other, which is very interesting.
yes,
And if you look at some of the art on there, to us it might seem quite bizarre, but what we've seen are very clear patterns of what AI actually do to entertain themselves, which is super interesting. I mean, just taking sort of a minute to scroll
No.
through the website, you'll see what I mean.
yeah, no, it's actually really interesting, because the coding, like could be a next level of refinement. That means, yeah, humanities, we got all those cultural things and entertainment, because even for humans, whatever it's entertainment in Japan is not the same entertainment in Russia, and definitely is not in US. So yeah, there are some levels. I will say yes, it's a common thing, but when you discern that, when you put that in a sieve and the algorithm is taking only the essence of it, you might be surprised actually what the result will be. Maybe a joke between AI, we don't get it, and the bots will start laughing for a joke, like they will say, hey, this is blank, or it doesn't say anything, but maybe the bots will understand is no code written behind, and they start laughing. So
Sandhu, do you know what's so weird? I can actually tell on TV now when there's scripting that has been written by bots, because I know their humor so well that I can tell when it was them that wrote the joke. That's how weird this is getting.
Yes, that's
So
quite
true.
interesting.
True.
Okay. No, maybe we should continue this discussion next week. Stefan, is that okay? If I will make an official invitation for the next week for you, you'll be okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
This has been great.
All right. Well, in that case, Amanda.
Sorry, I was not last.
Yeah, Amanda, I will let you closing up the meeting, and we'll see you next week. So let's have the last words. Wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me and having us up here and having this space. Just having the access to AI and giving people the knowledge of the things that they can do is it's so important. It's why we are doing what we're doing and why I do what I do. So I just thank you for that. And everyone just, I'm stealing something that I took from a space on Twitter that I like very much. That's a daily AI art space. They always say, treat your robots right. And that's what I always say is just treat them right.
Yeah.
I know we think that they're just robots, but in my anecdotal experience, when you treat them nicely, they will work so much harder for you too. So just why not? Just treat them nicely. That's all I have to say.
No, thank you very much. Yes, and that happens for humans as well. Treat everybody nice. Doesn't matter if it's a robot or not. So yeah, awesome. Thank you very
Show
much.
some respect.
Yes. We'll meet next week, same time. I really appreciate all the people which participate, all the people which they listen, and thank you very much. We'll definitely have a good discussion next week as well. Thank you.
And also, before you go, can I thank Joy for connecting me with you, because she's the one who
Yes.
got me in here. So
Thank you
props
as
to
well.
her.
Yes, thank you very much. Bye.